by this point in the tutorials, we've done a lot of different things. Now we've added our stop and play and start and end and previous and next buttons. Then we've also added our mouse down and mouse up event handlers with a repeating event for our buttons here, and we've done the pre functions for outputting our information. Now, there's a couple little things that I want to point out. One thing that I think is really kind of interesting that I noticed when I was testing this out, but the other point of this tutorial is just to tell you to go ahead and apply the currentFrame code for the bottom object as well, and it just uses the same thing. All you have to do is invoke the function and point it towards the correct objects, and then add your frame numbers. Now, you get to add a little bit more frame numbers. Maybe you can make it jump a little bit faster than the main timeline because this is twice as long with its length. But here's the thing that I wanted to point out real quick, and that is that as I was working with this, you'll notice that the current label shows that it's start all the way until the very end. And as soon as I get off of the end keyframe, it stays on that start keyframe, which is kind of interesting. So if you are actually outputting this type of information, it would actually be best sometimes if you had a blank keyframe that would not have a frame label, so that your frame labels only exist at the actual frame that it's being used. So let's test this out and see if that works better. Oops, there we go. You'll see we're at the start, then we go forward to the end, and then, well, I guess it's going to stay start all the way. So it actually reads what was the last current label. And so just kind of an interesting thing to point out that the current label is considered start everywhere from frame 29 all the way to frame 1, and it doesn't actually become the end label until there. So this is probably not going to be a very good indicator of how to show that you're at a location, because it's not extremely specific. But that's kind of, just a weird thing. Now, in the next tutorial, what we're going to do is add our keyboard events. So go ahead and save your work. Make sure that you've got all the different things working up to this point, and then we'll go and add our key events. And the nice thing about it is we've already got kind of the structure for being able to do our key events. So let's take a look at that in the next tutorial.